Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. This session is designed to help you understand a little better about the Aspires Leaders program and get to know the alums better. We have two alums joining us today. They'll tell you a little bit about their experience and journey and help you with your forthcoming application process. So, with that, I'd like to invite Anil to introduce the program and walk you through some of the key things that you should know about it as you think about applying for the incoming cohort. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Varya. A very good evening and warm welcome to all the aspirants who are here and joining this Aspire Leaders Program information session. My name is Anil Nair. I'm the country facilitator for India. With me today, we have our proud alma Godwin and Fozia, who will also share their own story, what exactly the benefits they got it from this particular program and how it is beneficial for their current pursuing undergraduate or graduation program or probably for the future career also. So without wasting much of the time, I quickly move to the slide decks. I will request all the aspirants and attendants here, they can put their question in a chat. Once we finish the session, we would be love to take all your questions or any doubts regarding the program and all. We'll definitely going to answer each one of them. Okay. So as you see, the institute name is basically fundamentally derived from one of the key element, what we call as an aspiration. And as we believe, the founders you see, Professor Tarun Khanna, Karim Lakhani, and the MD Meena, way back in 2017, they envisaged a mission where they believed, strongly believed that no youth, should be undeserved an opportunity to reach their full potential, regardless of their family background, their income, whether they are from the developing nations or basically developed nation across the world. Okay, so that was a mission. They started this Aspire Institute and they founded this institute long back in 2020, founded at Harvard at that point of a time, and it grew big. Okay, I'll quickly next move, what exactly this program going to help you and what exactly this program takes you in terms of for your future aspiration. As you see, I'll again clearly define, this program mission is very clear, to transform the lives of young adults across worldwide, depending on, as I mentioned, it could be any geography part of the world, developed or developing nation, who are currently undeserved, you know underserved means like where they're not getting the right potential mentorship to, looking for career aspiration, what they have to do next. So this fully funded leadership program, when I say fully funded means there is no cost attached, this fully funded leadership program, development program, is basically going to catalyze, these students, future aspiration and make them, a future leaders and create a positive impact, whether in their own career or whether in their own community back where they're working. So as you see, this institute started long back in 2017, and the first cohort which we had these students across 9 countries, and on a less than approximately 252 applications were there, and this program was known at that point of time Crossroad Emerging Leaders Program. Now, as of now, this is the last year's data, but I know that we are already crossed 20,000 application. Today, this whole program grew so big that we have to move and become an independent institute, non-profiting institute here in US. We have established where we have 150 plus countries, student representation across from the globe. So you can see the kind of diversity we bring into this particular program. And as I told you, more than 20,000 application what we have, okay, for this program. Now, what is the key essence? I recently joined this institute for taking operation and supporting the India to apply those students who deserve to be part of this. Now, my takeaway is very clear. This particular program creates the first and important thing for you is the confidence. You know, the confidence comes because it's a multidisciplinary curriculum. So, student from humanities, student from sciences, student from engineering background, student from paramedical sites, medical sites, all across can do this program. It's so wide and multidisciplinary now. They get the networking from the peer level across the globe. I told you 150 country peer levels. They're going to be mentored, taught by none other than the Ivy League institute like Harvard, MIT, Oxford, all across the globe leaders. And definitely they get a very clear path, what they have to aspire to become in future in life. Okay, so that they do well in their life and give back to their own communities, which you're going to hear more from our alumni when I explain more further. Okay. So the next important thing here to understand who all are eligible for this fully funded program. So the first and foremost condition for us is the student who are going to apply for this fully funded program leadership should be between the age group of 18 to 26 year of old. And second, they should have enrolled in any of the undergraduate program. Okay, I'm clearly saying undergraduate program in their country, or they have recently graduated. That means they are not basically doing any masters and all. So the whole idea behind this particular eligibility criteria is because this is the right juncture of anybody's professional life, because they wanted to move up, post graduate undergraduation, what they have to do. Are they wanted to go for a job, or what kind of a job, or they wanted to do for higher education or graduations and all across. That's where the right crops where we can give this intervention. Third but not least is they should be from the low income background. The whole idea about it, people coming from high societies and all, they have mentors, their parents have the connects in the society, they support them and all. But we definitely seen, I myself is a first generation undergraduate from my family, so I understand the challenges. I don't say it's a challenges because we are deprived of the information itself. Challenges comes when there's a problem, but in our cases we're not even aware of it. There are these possibilities. Fourth, it's very important, as I told you, is they should be the first generation college going student from their family, or there are condition we given exceptions. They are refuge or displaced person whose education has been disturbed. There are countries, we know that we have student, bright student, where the war kind of a situation is going on and all, their education has been disturbed. So we even support those students from the globe. Okay. Now, what is there? How this program has been envisaged? So, a lot of time we get questions from a lot of participants and students. Is it easy for me to do this program because I'm currently pursuing undergraduation? Okay, because that's the first question. Yes, this is a 4 to 6 months duration, self-paced online program, which has a different stages. Okay, different stages means every stage has something for everybody. That means if I pursue this program, God forbid, and due to certain reason I'm not able to pursue after third stage, but still till third stage I've gained something. Okay, so that's where there is everything for everybody. It's a multidisciplinary program irrespective of your background, core skill sets, whether you're sciences, humanities, engineering. I told you this program fit in. So as you see, the very first stage, I call it a zero stage, which is not there, that the attendees who have joined here and who wanted to know about this program, that itself shows that there's an aspiration in you to know something about that this kind of a program, leadership is there, and you wanted to be part to it. So that's the zero stage where you are right now. And I'm thankful to all of you that you are here to attend. So the program starts from the very first stage, which is an aptitude self-assessment test, which helps a student to understand their strength and weakness. So our alumni will explain you more about it, how it helps. Now that's the first thing to be a leadership. You should know what are your strengths and weaknesses. Now, a typical example: I wanted to make a career in software engineering, for an example. So I should be very much clear that my analytical skills, my aptitude towards rational thinking should be more. So somewhere down the line, there are certain skills that I need to have to pursue further career in this. So this probably gives you a, I'm not saying exactly the SWOT analysis, but strength and weakness test. So the stage one, after student apply, they selected, they complete that, they move to the next stage, which is called stage two, and which is a great leadership Harvard Explore program, now given by none other than Professor Ron Haffers. And this is again, as I told you, fully funded free program. So student attend this process. This is a self-paced program. You can do it in the evening, night, depending upon your time. And that's the reason you see the duration of the whole course is 4 to 6 months. It depends on your self-pace. So you wanted to skip one weekend and want to do later, but there's a time limit given to you. within 2 or 3 weeks you have to finish. And there are certain quizzes and assignment within that. You finish this program actively, you submit the assessment, you'll get the certificate from Aspire Institute. Okay. And once you do that, then you will be invited to the stage 3. Now, stage 3 is the one where you first level get a chance probably to interact with your peer level. Now, how it happens? These are live seminars from the world class educators. Now, these seminars topics are the faculties, the professors are doing in their walk of life, in their field, irrespective of the domain. So it could be a session on AI, it could be session on climate change, it could be a session on nowadays we're talking about governance, policy makers like that and all. You can join those sessions. At the end of the sessions and all, faculty invite for Q&A sessions from different students, and that's where the diversity in the program comes. So we look a problem from a one particular geography angle. So water crisis in India, in Maharashtra, would be very different than in probably in Ghana. But there is a water crisis problem. And solving both the problem will require a different, kaleidoscope to look at it and how they're going to solve. But that's the kind of perspective they get it. And you interact with, your peer level, which gives you the diversity of ideas and all. So you finish this, once you attend in this, you move to the stage 4, you get the invite for this. Those are selective. Please understand all stages has been selective. So you have to perform well, do better, and then move to the next stages. Stage 4 is quite exciting, which personally I feel this is basically your soft skill and personality development program. So you're given certain session, none other than by Harvard, career development session teams, which helps you to, do how to create resumes, LinkedIn profile. In this particular stage, you actually create, letter of recommendation, statement of purpose to apply for your the last, the fifth stage what we have. So this activity of your interview writing, recording of interviews, statement of purpose helps you also in case if you're in future wanted to go and apply for graduate programs across globe. I think our alumni will give you more input for them because they can talk much better because they've gone through this and they have experienced this very recently. That's why. So that's where you go stage 4 and you've been invited, you selected for stage 5, which is the last stage of this particular program, which is none other than one of the great thing to have. It's called basically immersive learning. Why we call it and all? Because that's where you get to interact with the Harvard professors for certain case studies. And there you make more interaction with your peer because there are the sessions where after the case studies the professor makes a breakout rooms. The breakout rooms comprises of 10, 12, 15, 8 depending upon the size of the rooms and all. They create these groups where you come back and probably give your context to the problem or to the case studies. Now during that you become a team and then you think, okay, that's our perspective to this problem, our view and point of view or context for this particular session is like this, and then you present. And you learn those things, interacting with peer level, immersive learning, diversity, solving a problem, and thinking from a very different angle to solve a problem like that. And this is what we finish all 5 stages. Okay. And that's where your program 4 to 6. And at the end of the program you're going to get an alumni status and a certificate of completion from Aspire Institute, which is founded at Harvard. Now the sixth stage is pretty good, but I would leave it like to call Fozia, who will share her own story and probably explain you once you finish this program, stage 1 to 5, and get the alumni stated what is there, because the program is not finishing there. There is much more for that for you still after you finish the program. Like Fozia is there, and apparently Fozia is one of our intern from India who's supporting for us, and she's part time an intern and doing pursuing us undergraduation also. So I would like to call upon Fozia, and then post that Fozia, you can take it in good income. You talk about more this program and explain them more better how it helped, what are the challenges you face, and probably the learnings which currently helping you and in for future also, so that our aspirants are pretty much clear about the program, what is there for it. Over to you, Fozia.
Yes. Thank you so much, Anil sir. That was great. Um, Hello, everyone, and a heartfelt welcome to the wonderful audience that has joined us today. I just want to heads up, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, loud
Okay,
and clear.
we are thrilled to have you here. My name is Fazia Fayaz, and I'm an Aspire alum of the batch 2022. My hometown is Kashmir. Kashmir is a conflict region in the northern Indian subcontinent. Having been raised by my single mother in the region like fraught with conflict, life wasn't easy for me. But despite all of these challenges, I was able to have big dreams. I always aspired to attend an Ivy League college and serve as an inspiration to the young people in my community. While I was working towards it, I learned about Aspire in my college. I'm right now in my college at Ashoka University, which is also a university in liberal arts in India. I got into Ashoka with full scholarship, and now through my college journey, I got to know about Aspire, and as I just shared that I was able to attend an IVY League college, and the fact that Aspire exposes its students to top-notch learning techniques, and straight from Harvard Business I was just talking about. The program enables its students to experience what it is like to attend a university like Harvard from the comfort of their homes. And I was eager to apply and finish every step of the process. I have been able to use it as a launching pad towards my goal of studying at a reputed university in the US. Um, could we have the next slide, please? Yeah. So the alumni building is a lifelong community. I mean, it is once you are an Aspire, scholar, you are an Aspire scholar for your lifetime. It has something to offer to you throughout your careers, throughout your college life, and even after that. So the building is the best part I love about it. So I would really want you to apply and complete all of the stages to enter this final beautiful community of Aspire, and take advantage of all the opportunities that it has to offer. So first is the leading community impact. It's sort of the community action award. So it's basically if you are working in, so all of us are from underprivileged backgrounds, right? That's why this program has been curated for us, and we all recognize some problems that are in our community, want to do something about it, want to change it, but we don't have right kind of funding for it, right? We don't have money for it, basically. So what CA is about is funding those projects that are sort of curated to help a certain community issue. It could be a community issue in Kashmir that I am maybe passionate about, or your particular regions, and then you propose that to Aspire, and if they find it impactful, sustainable, they will fund your project, and you can get up to $10,000 for your project. That is one. Another are like mini grants. If you are preparing for TOEFL, GRE, or want access to any course or any exam, you need money for that, basically. And then you apply for these mini grants, and you will get up to $500, and then you can sort of take your journey forward from there. You also get mentorship, which is the best part of, we all struggle being raised in households that don't have mentorship, that don't have someone who to guide us. I guess mentorship is something we all really are seeking for, and Aspire provides us it through its alumni building community program. You get one-on-one mentorships in any fields you want through their networks that they have around the globe. There is also there's this global alumni virtual community on Slack. We have this platform called Slack, and there is the channel of Aspire, and there are let me tell you, there are people from all around the world there. You can just text there, is somebody here from the US, and somebody would reply to you. And this is the level of networking that they have created there on the Slack platforms. And they also like support Aspire continued growth. So yeah, exactly, I was just talking about that. Aspire, through its community building platforms, through its model of community building, it just has to offer so much for all of you. And I'm sure you all are looking for ways to level up your careers and become the leaders you aspire to be, right? The Aspire program is the perfect opportunity for you to just do that. The key takeaways I experienced it with Aspire were networking and exposure to personality development. As Anil sir just mentioned, that I'm also doing an internship with them now after completing the stages. So with the program, you will build a leader in yourself and develop the skills necessary to move up to the ladder of success. I highly, highly recommend all of you to apply for this program and take advantage of the amazing opportunities it has to offer. This is a great chance to connect with like minded professionals, gain knowledge, expand your networks. So don't miss out on this incredible opportunity and apply now. Now it's time for Goodwin to share more about the alumni building and his journey with Aspire. So I'll sort of now hand it over to Goodwin. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, Fauzia. Great story, great experiences. Mine is a little bit different. Uh, I am also an Aspire alum 2022, and it was a remarkable journey and experience through the Aspire Leaders program. I joined Aspire during a very interesting point in my life. I graduated from the University of Nigeria, studying mechanical engineering in 2021, and had the opportunity to intern at Procter& and Gamble, which is a Fortune 500 company, for about 7 months. And then I left Procter& and Gamble and was in this very critical point of my life where I needed to choose a career for myself. And this time to be very intentional about it. I had joined P&G right from college and didn't really think too much about whether this was right for me or not. And now I had to do that very carefully. And as a first generation graduate, it's much more demanding because you need to think not just about yourself, but about every single person that is behind you. I'm the first in my family, and so when you grow up that way, you're always reminded of the responsibilities you have, and so you think about much more than yourself. And at that point, I wanted to build my career in the energy sector. Thinking very deeply, how do I do this? What are the opportunities that exist in it, and things like that. And going through the program was a huge exposure for me, from the rigorous tests we had to go through to the exposure with world-class faculty. And I think that is incredibly huge, something that shouldn't be talked lightly about in any way. If that was the first time experiencing something like that, although I had the opportunity to have some global exposure before then, but for someone who that would be the very first, that would be incredibly huge, from Harvard University, coming from one of the best in the world, having the opportunity to learn from world-class faculty. During my time, there was a professor, Francesca Dominici, who is a leader in the field of data science, and she had done a lot of work. And I had tried to reach out to her in the past in so many ways. Surprisingly, in the call, she was one of the speakers, and I was speaking, listening, right in front of her. Thanks to Aspire for that, right? And I had tried to reach her in the past in so many ways. There was absolutely no way to do that. But in the call through Aspire, I was able to learn from her. So that was really huge. And what it does is, coming all the way from Nigeria, grew up in Makurdi, Nigeria, studied at the University of Nigeria, and then being launched into this world of Aspire and then having access to global faculty like Francesca Dominici is something really, really huge. And I think would be incredibly beneficial to any first generation college student out there. Yes. And so things like that are some of the opportunities that one can derive from Aspire, and I'm so blessed to have benefited from it. And then at that point in time, just getting access to all of those opportunities and learning a lot from Aspire. I also had the opportunity to get in touch with Takeo. He was one of the leaders, one of the employees of Aspire then, and he was also with Harvard University. And we spoke a lot about choosing a career, about how the difference between a startup and a larger business. He had experience with McKinsey and Company, and he shared those world of insights with me. And it helped me make a decision with the company I currently work for, BZ Green Logistics, which is a clean energy company. And I started my career from there, right? And moving on, I started trying to apply for graduate school. When you get through to the stage 4 of Aspire Institute, you must have written essays, you must have gotten letter of recommendation from faculty and all that. And I already had all of those experiences already. And so I brought all of that together, applied for the Rose Scholarship to the University of Oxford, got a recommendation from Aspire, which is huge as well. And I matched one of the finalists for the Rhodes Scholarship for West Africa, with that kind of support, and I went for the interview. That was the farthest I could get, but eventually I got into Princeton University. So I will be studying at Princeton University by fall 2023. And all those learnings from Aspire came into play with all of this. Going through the mini grants application as well, the community action awards. Actually, I applied for that and tried to solve a problem in my community, and tried to raise grants from Aspire. We qualified to one of the top finalists for the program. We didn't win eventually, but the learning from that process, how to engage with stakeholders that can help you solve key problem in your community, you know how to think about problem solving very critically, asking the right questions, interviewing multiple customers along the way, who could this be a great solution to, how can it really help the community that you are trying to address, was really huge. And I worked with a team of Aspire alums as well and some other students within my university, going through the problem solving process, engaging with Aspire Institute during the process as well. And that was huge. When I was invited for an interview at Princeton, I had so much to say, just so much. With all the experience from Aspire, with all the engagements I had, it was very natural, and my passion for the energy sector was absolutely obvious, and I could tell myself during those interviews, and that was really huge. And thanks to Aspire for this. Uh, and so, yeah, I was assigned to a mentor as well from Aspire, whose career is up to the age that I've spent, the length of time I've spent in this world. You can imagine that. So the experience of your mentor is like 20 something years, which is how old you are as a person. So you have just so much to learn from some of these professionals that you are assigned to. And that is a huge opportunity as well. And so yeah, if you're thinking about Aspire, if you're thinking about applying, definitely do. It's a huge opportunity. There's so much you can get from it. Uh, there's so much network, the alumni community of leaders from around the world, Africa, the US, everywhere you can think of. And we are expanding at a rapid scale. So it's something you can be a part of and learn from and really make the most out of it. So yeah, so this is a little bit about my journey up to this point. So again, about the eligibility criteria, you will need to be 18 to 26 years of age, enrolled in an undergraduate program, or recently graduated. So unlike Fauzia, I was a recent graduate when I applied. I had actually completed an internship as well. And then from a low income background, first generation to go to college. So what first generation means is that neither your mom or your dad has a college degree, right? So even if you are not the first person in your family to get into the university, you are still eligible to apply, right? So if you have an elder brother who had gone to college, it doesn't stop you from being eligible to apply for this program. So you're highly welcome to apply. The only criterion is that none of your parents had the opportunity to go through a university program in the past. So, and of course, there's an exception, like Anil mentioned, for those whose education has been affected by conflict. You're also welcome to apply to the program, by disaster, or you're a refugee or displaced person. Of course, your education had been dramatically impacted, and Aspire gives you the opportunity to come in and learn from this world-class faculty. So applications open January 12th. Early action deadline is on March 22nd. So evaluations are often on a rolling basis. So you are encouraged to apply as soon as possible so that you can get along and start benefiting from the rewards of the program. And then the final deadline is in April 19th, which is just very few days away. So, of course, you can also follow us on, check out our website, www.aspireleaders.org/program. And also, we have pages on Instagram and LinkedIn as well that you could follow and learn more about what Aspire does. So, yeah, it's a huge opportunity, and I would strongly recommend for first generation students out there who want to make a difference in the world, who want to achieve their full potential, who want to do amazing things with their career. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great. Thanks for sharing that, both of you. And I see that there are people appreciating the session and all the inputs you've shared in the chat. Um, for those who are listening in live, if you have more questions, please keep adding them and we'll make sure to take those up. But in the meantime, it might be helpful for people to understand a little bit more on who should not apply for it. I think the first question that
Hi, Wari, are you there? We missed you in between.
sorry, I was saying who should not apply for the course. I think just
Okay.
more a little bit on the eligibility. Who should
Sure,
not
sure.
consider it?
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much, Goodwin and Fausia. What an inspiring story what we had. We clearly sees, a two dimension of students applying here. Very clearly, Goodwin says that he finished his undergraduation, probably doing an internship left in between because he would aspire to do much far better. And definitely we can see a clear support what he got from Aspire Leadership Program in terms of his during his Princeton View application. He said that very categorically. He has a lot to talk about. Okay, a lot to talk about that what he learned what about networking, critical thinking, problem solving approach, and that's where it helped us. And similarly we see the lot of confidence in what is today what we have in Fausia there and all. So thank you so much for sharing this as inspiring stories here. As Varia mentioned, I would like to clarify again. We clearly mentioned who all can apply, who not. So the student who are already doing their masters, PhD programs, they may not be able to apply. Student whose parents, so for an example, your parents are graduated already or have gone to colleges, they are also not eligible. So these are the two very clear category where we see the student shouldn't be applying. Rest all students who are fitting into our eligibility criteria are most welcome and encouraged to apply. As you see, 19th April is our last date. So for applying for this cycle, and as Goodwin mentioned, as you apply within a week's time and all, whether you selected or not, you'll get an application email from Aspire team that you have been chosen and selected for this program, and then they will tell you the next course of action to move to different stages. Any specific question we have with respect to the program? I would like to probably emphasize more, though we covered. Anything you would like to share, Goodwin or Fausia, regarding the stage four? Because that I have seen, a lot of student has really got support from the stage four. Or probably you can share the stage four and five, how it helped you. Probably if you can recall even applying for Princeton, which helped you, and Fausia, you also probably you feel a very much confident individual now. After you clearing both fourth stage and five. Meanwhile, Goodwin, you can probably share.
All right. Sure. So the stage four process is, in many ways, very, very similar to what applying for graduate school is like. So you are required to submit a personal statement, which is typical for graduate school applications. You are required to get recommendation letters from faculty, uh, from your school, which is as well typical for graduate school applications. And so it challenges you to tell your story, to think about your history and crystallize it in paper, which is something that most people may not have done up to that point. So it brings you into this world of selling yourself and telling your story and trying to convince someone to see your candidacy for acceptance, right? And that is a real opportunity to learn and prepare for other applications ahead. I mean, afterwards, you realize that there are multiple applications that will demand a statement of purpose, and you can always go back to what you sent for Aspire. How can you edit it? How can you build from that, and tell an appealing story for any further applications that come up in the future? And getting recommendation, it teaches you the importance of building strong relationships with people. You might have left the university and then now Aspire demands from you to get a letter of recommendation. You think about who had you worked with in the past, who was the project advisor, who were the people who you had very good, not just personal relationship, but working relationships with, and how can they speak to your candidates, right? and then you engage them to speak on your behalf, to say something about your candidacy for this program, and just the back and forth emailing reminders, helping them to send your recommendation letters in within the deadline and things like that really prepares you for more challenging opportunities ahead, and really played a great part. I mean, after getting those recommendations, going back to those same people again for my graduate school applications, I had already prepared a path to make that very easy, right? So I already knew how to reach out to them easily. I already had like the kinds of things that they should say about me in my recommendation letters, that I could communicate with the program. This is what they expect from candidates. So you may want to mention these attributes about me. They already knew some of the highlights of who I am as a person that I want to see in the essay. I don't have access to these essays, but you already had an engagement with them to really help them understand who you are now and who you were with them and things like that. And so it was a real preparation for these great opportunities, including my Princeton application and roads as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Goodwin. Thanks for that insight. I think that would be quite helpful for our aspirant applicants. Further, you would like to share on the same part, like probably Purna.
Yes, I mean, I guess I am. I mean, Goodwin has now got into Princeton. I mean, that's one of my dream schools. And I guess I am on the journey of what he had passed. And the best part is that we both share Aspire in common. And exactly, the stage 4 process is very much like applying to grad schools. I mean, it would really also help me in applying to colleges. I now have my personal essay in place. I know that I need to, I know that I need to now apply for letter of recommendations. I have also, so it really trains you. With respect to applying to colleges, and also having a recommendation letter from a professor who is at Harvard is really really a highlight, could be a highlight of your application. It could really boost your application, could really make you stand out from rest of the crowd. And also after clearing, after accepting or clearing the stage 4, getting into the stage 4, there is so much learning. You get to learn from the professors of Harvard University. And you it is like, it's exactly the Harvard class setting where the professor, gives you a case. You have to read the case and come up with solutions and discuss them with your peers, and then you discuss that in class also. It's so much, making you aware, pre-equipped with how it is like to be in a Ivy League college like Harvard. So yeah, it has been amazing and fulfilling for me as well.
Excellent, thanks. Were there any further question, Missy? Probably we need to uh, answer.
Nothing in the chat yet. I'm going to ask another question that we
Sure.
had received last year. Was that if there was any advice you would like to give to someone who's just starting the journey right now, going through the first phase of application, what is it that you'd like to share? The other question also that we've received often before is sort of managing the curriculum of Aspire and the work that Aspire requires with, say, your existing commitments, may it be college or at home. So, just on how can people manage their time better? So, these are two questions I remember we had seen from applicants last year, and it'll be helpful if you could attempt to address those.
Excellent, excellent, Varya question. I think uh, none other than better than I think both the Alma can tell this question what they should prepare and probably how they manage the time because they are the one who have gone through this program and done it, completed. So I'll ask both of you. Probably you can pitch in for these two questions, your experience and idea. Also, you may start first now.
Okay, so for what you need to sort of do is, I would just say, just stay true to yourself. Like literally in your application, just don't brag about anything. Just don't lie about anything. Of course, I know you won't. Just be honest about what you have accomplished so far. Just be honest about and be proud of the stories that you carry, right? Each one of us has a story to tell. I have a story to tell. Goodwin has a story to tell. And each one of you have a story to tell, right? And people who are born in certain backgrounds like us, we are much more responsible. We have much more, I would say, seen the world in a critical way, and have I would say, like, I'm not defaming any other stories, but have like better and worth stories that are worth telling. So just put it out there and be honest. Don't worry about the language. I mean, they know where we are coming from, so it's okay. It's okay. You're going to be good. And ask. You also have to ask one of your teachers to give you a letter of recommendation for one of the stages. Prepare for that beforehand. Ask any of your teachers to sort of give you a recommendation letter which you can submit to Aspire. And just be honest in your application. It's You're going to be fine. And just try to vocalize your story in the best way possible, because just believe that you have the best story to tell. That is one advice. And second, for the scheduling and etc., I think that Aspire, the all of the stages are curated in a way that it syncs with the curriculum that we all would be following at our colleges. So we don't have to sort of put in extra efforts into this. We just have to read the cases in stage 4. We have to read 3 cases and then come up with certain solutions to certain questions that they would pose, and it's a group discussion. So you don't have to put in much input from an individual perspective. You put in input with the group you are part of. So it's a learning process. Even if you sort of don't have time to put in much input, then you definitely can reach out to your group and get the I would say gist of the readings that have been shared, and discuss it with them. And also the timings are I would say it's not on the days that would harm your classes at college. So I mean, we did it. I was fine with it. I mean, it didn't sort of bother my classes. It shouldn't bother you as well. Goodwin, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, sure. So it's usually the case that students have a lot of things to do. Uh, and then when you apply for the Aspire Leaders program, it becomes one of those things. And why I would really, really advise any first generation students out there to take it very seriously is just what it does for you that very few opportunities out there can or are willing to at least. So when you go through all the 5 stages successfully, it comes with something huge. So there are a lot of applications from around the world for Aspire Leaders program. During my time, we were about 7,000 plus from around the world. And becoming a finalist among that number meant you were around, say, 1% or 2% of that number. And I added that as part of my awards in my resume, for example, right? And so, I coming from Harvard, the journey and the experience was huge. Getting a recommendation from Aspire Institute is also huge. So the commitment to the entire rigorous process comes with tremendous benefits and should be prioritized by anyone who really wants to do much more beyond what the circumstances may present them right with. And it came with a lot of stages, considerably higher than what I had known with opportunities typically. So stage 1 to or stage 0 to stage 5, and then afterwards there are still opportunities beyond. So it requires some level of discipline. Always paying attention to your emails, reading it very carefully, and adhering to the instructions. And why should you pay so much attention to this so that you don't make unnecessary mistakes along the way? It's just because of the amount of opportunities that come with it, right? Testing, getting access to world class faculty, going through this learning process from Harvard University professors on leadership, and the kinds of exposure it gives to you, the network it comes with, and things like that is really, really huge and gives you a very solid reason why you should prioritize this and why you should give it your very best. You may be busy in school, but whenever you're free, when there's an email to attend to, try as much as possible to attend to it. When there are sessions to attend to, mark your calendars, prioritize this. If it means going somewhere quiet just to watch these sessions, I try to do that as much as possible. And so, you have to really give your best because it comes with just a lot and a whole lot that very few opportunities I've seen in the world are willing to provide you with. And so, yeah, that's really what I have to say.
Okay. I would like to take one question I can see in the comment box from Moer. So she's asking, is it mandatory for the application time process? The letter of recommendation for should be from a particular subject teacher. So I just wanted to tell you what Fausia meant is that it's good to have that letter of recommendation because that you required probably in stage 4. At the time of application, probably you don't require letter of recommendation, and the letter of recommendation is not required for any subject specific. It could be any teacher who probably know your strength and all, why you are going to be good for this program in a very generic way. It's not going to gauge a very particular subject level expert. So for an example, if I'm applying for astrophysics for my masters, then definitely probably a faculty or teacher required to do. But this is a very generic leadership program. Recommendation from any teacher would be enough. And also, it is not mandatory at application stage. Fauziya mentioned it's good to prepare, that in coming stages you required in stage 4, not at the application stage. Trust I answered that question.
Yes. I think with this, we're done with all the questions. Thank you so much for joining in, everyone. A recording of this session will be available, so in case someone wants to join in or watch later, they can. Okay, I'm not sure where the echo came from, but I was just saying thank you for joining in. And if you have questions, please keep putting them in the chat. We'll make sure that someone will answer them in the comments. Thank you and have a great day.
Okay. Thank you, Varia, for this session. And thank you, Fauziya, Goodwin, and every participant and attendant who was here. It was pleasure talking to you and all, hearing from our proud almas. Thank you.
Thank you so much.